Former U.S. Assistant U.S. Attorney David Weinstein is here with us. Quite a day, David.
Certainly a lot of riveting testimony.
You bet. And it wasn't all about Russia. There was a lot of territory covered here. What'd you think?
Well, I think that's what's more important, what came out of today. We always knew this was about Russia. That's what the special counsel's investigation is about. But what came out today is what happened in New York. Whether it's going to be an investigation by the Southern District of New York or by the local DA's office in New York, there was a lot of testimony, some of it corroborated, some of it not, about what other activity the Trump organizations and people close to him were associated with in New York. And that may be the bigger problem for everybody down the road.
And a lot of it already under investigation, according to Cohen's testimony.
There were a couple of questions he didn't want to answer because there were people who he had talked to already and who were asking him some follow-up questions to that. And again, the local tax issues, some of them brought out for the first time today, may impact down the road.
So Cohen got the usual treatment when it comes to credibility of a witness. He's already admitted to lying before Congress. He's going to prison. Do you think that he came across as believable and credible?
There will always be critics who say, once a liar, always a liar. But you know what? If you're telling the truth about something, there are other facts, other witnesses, other things that corroborate what you say. He did, in fact, plead guilty to lying to Congress and lying to other people. And that's the baggage he's going to come with as a witness. All witnesses come with that type of baggage. The question is, the statements he made today, bold, forceful, he believes them to be truthful. Why would he lie again and subject himself to more charges for lying to Congress and additional perjury and obstruction potentially in his sentencing? So the real question is, did what he say today, is that supported by any corroboration?
Well, he had some checks, for example. He had some other documents. You're a former prosecutor. Was that believable? I know that they try to impeach his credibility, but overall, do you think that he made his case?
He certainly helped to make his case, and having documents that support what you say make your words ring more true with the people who are listening to you. Whether it's the members of Congress who are listening, whether it's the American public, or whether ultimately it's a jury who's going to get the case. Did what he say today, was it supported by the checks? Was it supported by other documents, financial statements that were released? And in some instances, are there other witnesses? We don't know who else the special counsel has spoken to. We also don't know who SDNY has spoken to. Are there other people in the background who have provided corroborating testimony for what he said?
Did you hear anything that stood out to you as something that could be impeachable?
Much of what he said was a high crime and misdemeanor. Was the president untruthful in the statements he made to the special counsel's office? Did he engage in some sort of a cover-up as to the activity that was taking place? Did he tell people one thing and in fact know the truth of what it was something else? Was he trying to cover up something? Was he trying to influence an investigation? All of those things could be impeachable offenses.
All right, we'll be hearing a lot more because he's going to testify again later this week before other committees, some of it behind closed doors.
What remains to be seen is what comes out of those committees and what comes out of New York.
All right, David, thank you very much.